Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sack Time. On today's episode of Sack Time, we finally get the long-awaited Virtual Console title, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, which we're going to pop up on the screen here. And we're going to go through one of arguably the best Super Nintendo games of all time. Now, this is not only one of the best Super Nintendo games anybody has ever played, but widely acknowledged as being the #1 contender between the Ocarina of Time and this, as far as the best Zelda game. So one of the little known facts about this game is that it was actually created in 2001 as a GameCube game and sent back in time for the Super Nintendo. So let's go ahead and start this up, and you'll see what the big deal is. What's the scoop on A Link to the Past? Okay, player select. Naturally, Sack is the only thing we named this guy because that's his real name, and they messed up on the title. So let's go ahead and start. And as you can see here, already there's an opening cinematic, there's dialogue, and this is a big step up from the other Zelda games, the other two being on the original Nintendo, and I believe available on the Virtual Console as well. So, the biggest difference about this game is that it went back to the what is considered now the classic Legend of Zelda style, whereas the deviation from Zelda 2 brought everything into a side-scrolling realm. This game returns to Zelda 1's overhead view and opens up a gigantic world map, a lot of exploration, and is just really like almost a super love letter to the first, which only came out 6-7 years prior. Anyway, so Link, instead of being limited to just 4 directions of movement, can now move in 8. Of course, with the Super Nintendo, we have a myriad of new buttons that have shown up. So we've got not only A, B, but X, Y, and L and R. We can pick up pots right off the bat and find disgusting hearts inside, which you can eat and regain your life. Find treasure chests lying around, and they have special items inside. Now, we pop outside to some atmospheric rain. Look at this. And this game should have been released maybe a tad bit sooner. I was hoping it would coincide the release of A Link Between Worlds, the only direct Zelda sequel to return to the exact same world in which a game takes place. I guess Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 kind of do, but it's different in the regard that you know what I'm talking about, so stop it. Alright, so here we can actually even pop into the map screen right off the bat, and you can see we have a whole overworld with a desert, a lake, mountains, forest, all kinds of stuff going on, even a town. So again, huge step up for the Zelda world. Zelda 2 did have towns, yes, and they were cleverly named from the future after sages, which is kind of cool, except for I think Mido, who's just a turd. And Zelda's yelling at me because she doesn't want me to be throwing bushes, and she'll prompt me every, I think, 5 minutes to come hang out with her if I'm just screwing around outside, throwing bushes into the fence. Anyway, so already the game is more story-driven in that we have a little bit less leeway as to where we can go because we have to complete certain objectives and certain tasks. Now, of course, this is not a bad thing, as it helps promote a stronger narrative in the Legend of Zelda series, but yeah, there's a tiny bit less freedom. Like any Zelda game, you still need to go through palaces somewhat sequentially in order to get appropriate items to do what you're supposed to do. So this is familiar to a lot of people in that, you know, this is childhood. This is 1991, you know, for us North Americans, and there's an uncle with purple hair who's about to die and hand me his sword. So let's grab the sword. Zelda is my ... my something, my queen, my girlfriend, my little sister, my aunt, my mom, my daughter, a lot of different things. Okay. Now, okay, so we can bring up our pause menu here, and there's going to be a whole bunch of different items, and it even shows what context. Y button uses items in the screen box. A button is sort of a context-sensitive button, the do button, if you will. Off to the right, you can see what is currently equipped, which pendants we have, which is our progress marker, much like the Triforce pieces in The Legend of Zelda. And then equipment down in the lower right, including how many heart pieces we have. Additionally, this is also the first game to introduce the concept of heart pieces, where hearts were disgustingly broken up into separate quadrants and thrown about Hyrule. So, alright. So now we have a little bit of magic powder. We have a chest with a rupee inside. I don't know whether the royal family is keeping that in their basement, but that's what they're doing. So now we can use this magic lamp, and this is where magic is reintroduced to Zelda, as Zelda 2 did have its own magic meter. However, it was used to magic spells and not items, where this game does a little bit of both. So we can use our lamp and it makes the visible room slightly more visible. But this does come in handy later when it does become truly, completely 100% dark. Now, what's kind of cool about this game is it had its own sort of sense of visual acuity, in that these guards had sort of like a Metal Gear style cone of vision, that you could hide behind certain objects and they actually physically could not see you, and you could sneak your way through things as long as their heads weren't tilted in your direction. So this guy's going to lose track of me if I run around long enough. If I stay behind this tree out of sight, he doesn't know what's going on. He's going to return thinking that, you know, this stupid little fairy kid just disappeared, when in fact I'm over here ready to kill him. Alright, so he failed at his job. That's kind of sad, but that's okay. That guy can't see as well. Alright, so now we go inside to the castle. We're going to actually finish up just sort of this intro sequence until we get to the spot where the game... What does the game even do? I don't even know what the game does. I don't know what game I'm playing. This looks a lot like Mario Kart, so I'm trying to figure out how to beat Bowser Castle 2. Okay. I'm going to make our way into the deepest basement. The deepest of deep basements. Which is fairly deep, actually. Got to grab some keys, kill some dudes, get a boomerang, and it all works out. You know, life is a series of events that leads one to another very purposefully, including me missing a guy with my sword. It was written into the stars. Okay. So now we have a dungeon map, and once you're inside a dungeon, you press X. It doesn't bring up the overworld map. It'll bring up a multi-floor dungeon with a grid, so you can reference levels where you have to fall through holes, or if you're really into squares, it pleases the architect in all of us. Also cool is we can jump off of ledges, which comes in handy later, as you can just avoid dudes all day and hide between the statues. Anybody can see us now. He saw us. Oh, whatever. We're gonna take off and just avoid conflict altogether. It is like Metal Gear, going for a no-kill run, which I can't even imagine doing, but maybe it's possible, maybe it's not. Of course, you have to kill the bosses. You can't tranquilize them. Anyway, let's kill this young man. He never had the chance to find his niche in life. They just put him in a room and said, hope that a dude doesn't come in here. He's like, alright, sounds good. Oh boy. Alright. Grab a key and a boomerang. So let's go ahead and switch from this stupid lamp, because the lamp doesn't actually light people on fire or bushes. Only little oil wells. Okay. Used our keys as per Zelda. We have our arrow meter up here at the top. We've got a bomb meter. We've got our rupee meter. Now we're in basement 2, going to basement 3, because that's where Zelda is. They decided to put her in basement 3 because basement 2 doesn't have a cell. Basement 2 is just a single room. Okay, kill the young man. Let's go grab some pots. Let's going to grab Annie Potts' autobiography and read about her adventures as an actress in Ghostbusters. So this guy right here is kind of an uncommon enemy in this game, because he's a huge knight with a sweet ball and chain, gigantic mace thing, and we're going to throw some pots at him to kill him, because that's way more satisfying. Now, a big key, this has been introduced to the Zelda games and has been used in every subsequent Zelda game, where you get a big key, which is used normally for boss rooms, but right here it's used to unlock Zelda from her cell. I'm going to take her rupees, because those belong to her. Thank you, Sack. I had a feeling you were getting close. And Link, of course, being a silent protagonist, continues to not talk, and in fact in Zelda 1 and 2 there wasn't really much opportunity for him to, and in this they really emphasize the fact that you as the player do not have a voice. You are experiencing this story through the eyes of Link, and by not giving him a voice, they remove the disconnect that you would feel by playing a character who is already established. So the journey becomes a lot more about one's self, and you are the role of Link. You're not just going alongside with Link, you are the Link. You're at a Linkin Park concert, and I'm not exactly a fan of them, but I won't say anything disparaging in case any of you are. Whatever the case, Linkin Park and Zelda Williams are walking through the castle now, and you get to lead her on an escort quest where she was in 0% danger, which is awesome, because escort quests, as we all know, are generally not that fun if whoever you're escorting can die. It's a very sadistic ritual, and I'm glad to not be worrying about her well-being. She's fine. She can jump off ledges with me. She's actually infinitely as capable as I am, and not only being invincible, there's no reason she should have been caught and put in a jail cell. So, we've got a lot of iconic themes in this game as well too. The music is among the best in any Zelda game. A lot of these tunes have been used time and time again, recycled, redone, and I think this particular theme right here, the Hyrule Castle theme, is backwards in the Link Between Worlds, which is a fun little Easter egg that Nintendo's been throwing in recently, and I know people chalk it up to laziness, but it's fun. It's a neat little thing. It's not like these guys have any dearth of ideas. They just chose to do something that's like an Easter egg for fans to figure out. Okay, so right here, Zelda and I are going to push this thing aside. Do I push it from the other direction? Probably. There we go. I wasn't paying attention. I always feel it's from the right, and I'm always wrong. So Zelda's dad normally sits right here, but I can't go over there, can I? Nope. Locked. Okay, so now here's where the torch genuinely comes in handy, is because we have a room full of dudes known as rats. These are it's a tribe of people, and we're going to disrupt their lives by lighting torches. Now we can see the entire room, and the more torches that we light, the better we can see. I believe that the torches actually go out after a while, or start to decrease in light. Yep, there we go. So you can light this a couple times. That rat ate some money, so we're going to steal it from his stomach. Now, what's great about this game, and Ocarina of Time actually has gotten a little bit of flack, which I always think is funny, in that it has been accused of copying the formula, which it does. Zelda's a very formulaic game, and people have given Ocarina of flack for feeling very much like like A Link to the Past, where you fight a couple dungeons, go to an alternate dimension or a different world, or back in time, or whatever they want to refer to it as, and then you finish up the rest of the dungeons. And so yes, there's an established formula. People like it because people get comfortable and people like familiarity. So I say, who cares? Let's have some fun. Let's slash some bats. Let's collect their hearts, and let's light some torches. The game has an initial 3 dungeons where you get 3 different pendants, and then I believe it opens up to 8 more dungeons, including, or no, with Ganon's Tower being the last of them. So is it 9 total? I can't hit this rat at all. I'm really good at this game. So you've got a fair amount of content inside, and I'm distracted because there's this weird chick standing next to me. But I'm going to keep playing The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past on the Virtual Console. We're going to walk through the water. This actually has one of the better water dungeons as well, too, because it's like a primarily 2D water dungeon, and people I know didn't like the 3D ones because depth in water and raising the water levels and lowering the water levels was not exactly in people's agenda. So, maybe that's why this game is remembered so favorably, is because you don't have to deal with much in terms of, I guess there's a little bit, but it's really minimal. It's very easy. This game can actually be beaten in just a couple hours if you know what you're doing. So it's not like we have like a 40-hour journey or anything. It's fairly simple, fairly concise, but it's good all the way through and through. We're almost ready to make our way out. And if you guys have played A Link Between Worlds but not had a chance to play this, it is highly recommended. I implore you to do so, just because the love and homage that's been put into returning to this particular world has been done without being too pandering. They've changed the world appropriately enough to make it really fun for fans, and it's a great tandem experience, seeing the throwbacks and actually remembering just how phenomenal the design of this game was, 23 years ago, which is ridiculous to think about. Okay, so we're gonna pull a lever. I think if you pull the other one, snakes are like apples that are bombs. Fall down and kill you. Maybe the snakes, let's find out. Okay, a bunch of ropes, I believe they're called lope. Alright, back in the sanctuary. You're safe. There's Zelda. Yes, it was Sack. It was all Sack's doing. Alright, she yells a bunch of stupid crap. I don't care. Zelda, like, you think you're being helpful, but you're as helpful as Fi. Alright, cool. Actually, no, the story in this is pretty neat, because it tells you where to go. I believe they also mark it on your map, which we'll go outside and look at in a second, which is also extremely helpful. Get a heart container, your heart level increased. I'll show you a couple more things about this game before I go and delete it forever and throw away my Wii U, because I'm so bored with this game. Alright, so we pop outside and you can scroll around and there's like this sort of like mode 7 effect that happens and it looks neat. And yeah, we go to Hasarala's house over on the left hand side, Kakariko Village. We're not going to do that because then I'll just keep getting sucked into playing this, and it's a very easy thing to do with this game, is just play and play and play and play. So, a couple nice features are you can continue game, save, and quit by hitting the select button at any point, and when you continue the game, you can actually choose to start from Link's house, from the sanctuary right over here, or once you get to Death Mountain, from the top of Death Mountain. And it's kind of a nice way to be able to warp around the world to get to accessible places fairly easily. And eventually you'll be warping back and forth between the Dark World and the Light World, and utilizing those warp points does make things handy, as once you're in the Dark World, you pretty much can only start from one spot, if I remember correctly, which may be inaccurate, but I don't care. Go buy a strategy guide. Go buy one. Anyway, A Link to the Past, $1.50 upgrade, which means you know what the game is like and you know it's good, or $8 on the Wii U eShop Virtual Console purchase ticket. I don't know what that means, but I think it sounds great, and I'm going to coin the phrase and patent it, and now you guys owe me a lot of money because I know you can't stop using it. Anyway, this has been another deliciously delightful episode of Sack Time. I hope you guys get a chance to go play this, one of the finest entries in the Zelda series. If you hadn't had a chance, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So thank you for your time, thank you for watching, Godspeed, and go get some delicious hamburgers. Thank you. Thank you.